Hey everybody, Jason here with Banner Properties. Today I want to answer a question: what to do with unwanted property. What do you do when you have property, land, or a lot that you do not want or need anymore? Now maybe you say, how is it possible that someone could own land that they don't want? Well, there are many situations that I find with people that I work with on a daily basis that create a situation where they don't want the property anymore. So maybe you have a piece of property that you inherited. You got it from a parent or a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle, some sort of a relative that left you a piece of property in a will. You didn't particularly ask for it. You don't really know what to do with the property. It's not something that's close by or that you use on a regular basis, and you don't need it or want it anymore. Another thing that's very common is that plans have changed. Maybe you wanted to retire and go camp on that or use it for a certain type of hobby or business, and your plans simply changed. Another thing we encounter is that sometimes people have life changes, like they'll have a divorce, and because of that, the plans that were previously shared also are changed now. There could even be situations on occasion where there are bad memories associated with that, sometimes from childhood or a bad memory connected to the person, connected to that property, and for that reason, you'd like to just move on in your life and just have that out of your life. A very, very, very common one, probably one of the most common reasons why people want to get rid of property and do something with it, is they say, you know, Jason, I'm not using the property anymore, but I have to pay taxes on the property every year. Now, that's a terrible feeling, but this is the reality of the United States of America, and that's that if you own the property, you have to pay those property taxes no matter if you use it or not. So some people are holding on to property that costs them hundreds of dollars a year in taxes, which accumulates over the years to thousands and thousands of dollars for something that they don't use or even want necessarily. And then another final one is that maybe you owe back taxes. So if you don't pay those taxes, they start to accumulate, and then they get interest charged on that. The county loves to charge its interest payments, and it can build up to a very, very large amount, okay? Now, what are your options? I want to talk to you about a couple different options, and if you have property you don't want, you can always gift it. You can give it away as a gift. You could give this to a loved one, a family member. You could put it in your will even possibly. Another thing is that you can let it go to a tax option. So the tax auctions are in certain counties and states in the US. When a number of years of back taxes are owed, the county actually has the legal right to auction the property off in order to recover the money that's owed in taxes. It sounds crazy, but they can do this. So you might just not pay taxes and just let the property go until the county finally takes it and sells it to someone else. Probably not the best option, but many people do that. You can also leave it to your kids to deal with. Maybe you're older and you say, you know what, I'll just leave it there and they can deal with it. I will say that there are many challenges, especially on property that are smaller pieces of property that aren't as high dollar or valuable. It can be a lot of paperwork and a lot of work for them to deal with and to even be able to do anything with it, especially if you own property out of state. It's very hard to probate an ancillary will, ancillary probate in another state in order to sell the property, and it can become a difficult process. So keep that in mind. Another option that's a great option is there are many associations and organizations and nonprofits in the US that you can actually donate property to. And then what they'll do is they'll try to sell the property if they can't use it, and they can then have some funding for their organization. Now, it's probably better to just donate money to them because there's a lot of work for them to be able to sell the property. But I know that quite a few people do decide to donate it, and if it's for a good cause, that can be a great thing. And then the final option that you have, which I would highly recommend, is to sell it for some cash. Now you might think, you haven't seen this property. This property is not worth a lot, but just remember, there are buyers out there for just about anything. So I'm not going to guarantee your property is worth much, especially if you owe back taxes and things. But you should definitely at least consider trying to sell it for cash. So let me show you a quick resource online that you can use to sell your property for cash. Maybe you think, it's a small piece of property. I've tried to find realtors that want to list it and I can't find anyone that wants to give me the time of day. No worries here. Just go to checklands.com, okay? This is how you can get a check or check it off of your list for your land. So go to checklands.com, and this is a website that connects to multiple land investors or land buyers, and they actually have quite a bit under the Learn tab and down here about buying and selling property. So you can look at some of those resources. And then here you just click this button that says, yes, I want to sell land. And here it is, get free offers submission form. So it doesn't cost you a thing. It's just going to take a couple minutes of your time and some of the information from the property. So you're just going to put in the property, county, the state. Now, if it's a rural piece of property out in the country and you don't have a street address, that's okay too. You can just put rural vacant land or something similar in there. The zip code, the acreage if you know it. If you don't, you can put a guesstimate there. And then your name is going to be important and your contact information so that the investors can contact you. And any other information you have here about the property, even if there are unpaid taxes owed, you could simply put the amount. No shame here, just put whatever amount is owed. Maybe there's $2,000 owed in back taxes, that's okay. Put it in there because the investors are actually going to research the property and find this out anyway. All right, and then you could put in a price that you'd potentially like to ask for the property. Do remember and keep in mind that sometimes what a person asks and what a person is willing to pay can be a little bit different, but you can go ahead and put this in and then just click the Send Me Offers button. Okay, Send Me Offers. And what that's going to do is it's going to submit this to the website, and the Checklands network of investors are going to contact you after they look at the property, and they're going to make you a cash offer. Now, these are cash buyers. You're not going to have to wait around months for them to get the financing in order or any of that stuff. These are cash buyers that buy and sell land on a daily basis, and they're going to make you a real cash offer. And ideally, if you don't want the property and you find someone that's willing to make a cash offer, you can quickly close that sale and move on to another stage of your life and deal with that unwanted property. Okay, I hope this video has been helpful to you, and if you do have unwanted property, feel free to use one of the options that I mentioned, or if you'd like to try to get a cash offer for it, submit it here on checklands.com. Thank you.